welcome back. This week, we're talking more about the Genie service. We're also talking about lower wait times, new annual passes, some other kind of news-ish stuff, even though this isn't a true newswire. This is the Mouse and Men, where we explore the grown-up side of Disney. Go to themouseandmen.com, where you can get our top 10 things for grown-ups to do in Walt Disney World, plus links to all of our social media, YouTube, where we broadcast the podcast. I am Bradley. With me, as always, is Chris. Chris, I mean, there's a lot to the Genie system, the Genie service. So we're just going to chew on it a little bit more this week.
Yeah, I find that, I don't know why, maybe it's that I'm not there experiencing these things in person, but in my head, I've been having a difficult time kind of imagining or like virtually experiencing what these things will be like. I'm a bit overwhelmed still. So yeah, I'm appreciative myself of the fact that I'm going to get to know a little bit more about Genie through this, because I'm sure it's simple. Like if I just look at one sheet of paper, I could probably figure it out. But in my mind, trying to do the math of what things mean what and what you can do at different tiers, a little confusing. So I'm glad we're talking about it today.
First, before we get into anything else, I want to correct some things that I said last week. Last week, I said the Genie Plus includes Memory Maker. No, I misread that. So what the Genie Plus, that is the $15 a day per ticket for Disney World, $20 a day per ticket for Disneyland. What that service includes is for Disneyland unlimited downloads of PhotoPass. If I'm getting this correct, then for Disney World, you get, excuse me, you get a VR kind of thing, I believe, for your phone. So you've got some cool VR stuff for your phone.
That's fun.
So it not quite what I thought it was. Is it still worth it? I don't know. So let's go through kind of each tier, what we like, we don't like. So the first tier is just the Genie service. Mm-hmm. And this is it's free for everybody. It's going to help you plan your day. I love this. I mean, I haven't seen it in action. But if they're going to tell me, if I just say, hey, I want to do all these things today, and it says, hey, there's a shorter than normal wait time over here, I love that. I'm gonna go check out whatever it is. It may be, I don't know, it may be zigzagging across the park a little bit more. But now that you've had time to kind of stew on this free service of the Genie service, what are your thoughts, Chris?
No, I kind of agree with you. My family, we tend to not be long-term planners. We don't yet know where we will be on vacation next summer. We usually tend to let it get a little closer, and then we look at what our availability is, and then what our budget is, and then we go from there. And so I like the idea that I can still benefit from a service like this and not have to be so Johnny on the spot, 60 days ahead of your vacation, jumping on and making all of your reservations. I like the idea that I can be a bit more spontaneous and kind of pull up the Genie Plus app on my phone and look and go, oh, cool. The X restaurant has an opening right now. I think we can get in there right now. I would not have known this had I not used this service. And so those types of things of showing me like last minute availability is a lot of fun, because then you can kind of, again, bring a bit of spontaneity back to that. But you can also, if you are a planner, you can use it to really plan out things. And so I like how it's not just for the heavy planners. They also incorporate us folks who tend to go by the seat of our pants a bit more.
Yeah. And I would do a lot of this, especially when because it was just me and my wife in the parks. We'd ride something. I'd pull up my Disney experience, look at the map, check out wait times. It's like we did some of this zigzagging across the park. It didn't bother us. I think this Genie service will help some of that, because they'll say, look, this whole land in the Magic Kingdom is experiencing lower than normal wait times on average. Maybe one's about normal, but so take your family over there. Hit Peter Pan, the carousel, Dumbo, hit it all. Because you'll spend less time there right now than if you wait 2 hours and start hopping in line. So I'm excited because I know Disney's been tracking all this stuff and trying to figure out how to provide better guest experiences. And what it's like from a user perspective. I don't know. I'm interested to try it. So it should be out later this fall. I'm guessing it'll be later this month in time for the 50th anniversary, at least for Walt Disney World. I don't know.
Yeah. That's my assumption, is they're trying to get all this done and ready for this new phase of moving into the 50th year anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what everybody's feeling. At the same time, I'm like, that's a lot of things to unveil all at once. They announced this just a couple of weeks ago. They basically had 6 weeks to get this finished up. I don't know what kind of beta testing they've been doing, but yeah, so we'll see. So that's the free aspect, especially next time I go down, I'm definitely going to try just the free aspect, at least at first. Yeah. Maybe the last day or the last couple days, I may try the Disney or Disney Plus, the Genie Plus, or maybe I just do some of the Lightning Lane stuff, which some of the Lightning Lane signs have been going up. You can see some of those on social media. But yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm not sure that I'm going to need the Genie Plus experience, at least right off the bat. But here's the official language from the Disney Parks blog website about the photo stuff. Disney Genie Plus will also include Disney Parks themed audio experiences and photo features to capture your memories, augmented reality lenses for those visiting Walt Disney World Resort. So
that's cool.
Use your camera, you get cool VR lenses. Unlimited Disney Photo Pass downloads from your day if you're visiting Disneyland Resort. So Disneyland does get unlimited photo downloads, but I guess not the augmented reality lenses. Maybe this is just a test just to see how customers like this in different places. And because they got Disneyland and Disney World, they can do a bit of an A/B test and see what people like. And it's just kind of a bigger test. I don't know. This is also
I will say that, like, before the My Disney Experience app, we had to kind of call or curate, bring in, collect all the information that we needed to try to have the best day experience possible. I can remember working with, and this was about a decade ago, but working with a travel agent, and part of the what I used the travel agent for is they had a service, basically an Excel spreadsheet that broke down like what days the parks tend to be less crowded. And that was utilized, and that was brought up in another app that I started using. And then that was brought into my Disney Experience app itself. So I didn't use the old Excel spreadsheet or the other apps. I just used the Disney one from there. And so I like how these services tend to make it to where my experience, I have to go less places.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that the Genie Plus system is just one of those kind of like my Disney experience, to where it just makes it just that much easier. But kind of what you're alluding to a minute ago with some of the rebranding of it all, I'm just curious, is this all they're trying, like they're dealing with the outcome of COVID and then the impending 50th year anniversary, and they're trying to squeeze all this in, which is why all these changes seem to be happening at once, because they're, again, all the different tiers of the Genie Plus service, plus the annual passes and what they're all called, they're now all rebranded and different. And so I think that my mind, in just thinking about it all, is a bit overwhelmed with it. So I'm curious if that's kind of a general sense from other people, or I'm just not taking the time to look at it to figure it all out, so it's not so confusing in my head.
Yeah, and that's a good point. There's a lot of new things being rolled out. When the parks were closed, there was time to think about other things. So that may be why we're seeing a lot of stuff come out, is people have been incubating. They've been working on this stuff, and now it's to the point they've designed it, they've built it, they've been testing it since parks reopened earlier this year, and now it's ready to be rolled out. And you brought up annual passes. We'll get to that in just a minute. The third tier with the Lightning Lane. So this is likely going to be for newer, bigger attractions, newer attractions and attractions that generally see longer wait times. I don't know. Again, it's something where I'm going to have to see how the free version of the Genie service helps me find the best times to go ride those attractions, visit those attractions. I don't know. So
I certainly don't want to try
somebody like me is don't jump in and buy it all up when it's first available.
Yeah.
Wait and see what happens. But what were you going to say, Chris?
No, that was kind of my thought. And that's exactly what I was going to say, is that I want to test out what the parks feel like before I then invest that, again, because it's per ticket. So for me, going down there with 4 people, that's whatever the experience is times 4, with everything that we're doing. And you're very quickly heading into that same territory as well. So we can't just think that it's, a photo pass is just $15 added on to the cost of my day. It's 15 times 4. And now we're dealing with $60 per day. And that really starts to add up. But I think that Disney has always done a really good job of, yes, going to Walt Disney World or Disneyland is a premium experience. You're going to be paying a lot of money to experience Disneyland or Walt Disney World. But it is a vacation experience where they try to balance the amount that you're going to be spending with the experience that you get. And so I've always been happy with that balance that they've done. Yes, sure, I would love it if I was paying a couple $100 less per day for a Disney vacation, but it is what it is. It's a premium vacation experience. And so I know that I'm going to be paying a lot. But if I then, with something like a Lightning Lane or a Genie Plus or the new annual pass or whatever, if I feel like the convenience makes it worth it for me to pay, then I'm all for it. So I hope that the Genie Plus service, even with the Lightning Lanes and all of that, if I do choose to invest for myself and the rest of my family, that it just adds that much better of an experience. But I do want to try the base experience too, before adding in Lightning Lanes or all of those things as well. And so, I will try the free, what it is just to walk around Disney. But again, it sounds like that you can do these things day of. So I like the idea that I can get in the parks maybe and see that it's busier than usual, and maybe then upgrade if there's a spot available for my family to be able to jump on these rides quicker.
Yeah. And, some people were complaining, making me pay additional for rides, that sort of thing. And other people coming back and saying, remember when you had to get a ticket book and it had only, I think, 1 or 2 E tickets, a couple more D tickets, a couple more C tickets, a couple more B tickets, and a lot of A tickets. It's this little book of tickets. You literally rip one out and hand it to the person working the ride. And if you're around Disney for any length of time, you hear about e-ticket rides. These are the ones that everyone really wanted to ride. And so you would have some people, trading tickets. It's like, I don't want to go on something like Space Mountain. So I'll give you my e-ticket for a couple of C tickets or something, based on that. So these bigger rides where they're asking you to pay for Lightning Lane, it's not a foreign concept to do Disney. They're kind of just bringing that back for nostalgia's sake, at least on their part. It's going to be interesting. Is it a bummer that prices are going up? Yeah. But also they're still trying to find that sweet spot where demand, and supply. So just trying to figure out those economics where the price hits a point where the people who really want to go are willing to pay that price. Yeah. And they start to see a drop off. And maybe they're starting to see that drop off now, but let's move to annual passes. They just released this new annual pass system. So they, like you hinted at this just a minute ago, there are 4 tiers, 3 different tiers for specifically for Walt Disney World, 3 different tiers for Florida residents, and then 1 option for out of state people. And I think Disneyland deals with more of this crowds from just locals. Disney World gets more out of town guests. So I think some of this is to control crowd levels. I know that the cheapest option for Walt Disney World, you don't get access on the weekends. It's just a weekday only thing. Yep.
And that's $3.99 per person before taxes.
Yeah. So and it's got fewer discounts, and then it kind of scales up, fewer blackout dates, bigger discounts, that sort of thing. And then the out of state is at $12.99.
$12.99 a person. Yeah.
So pretty steep, but if you're going down there a couple times, you're going to be spending quite a bit of money. And keep in mind, it does give you discounts, food, lodging, merchandise, all that. So Chris, what were your first initial reactions when you're looking at these annual passes?
Yeah. And again, just to put a finer point on this larger scale, it goes $3.99, $6.99, $8.99, and then the top tier is $12.99 per person per year. And that is the top tier doesn't have any blackout dates, where all of the other lesser tiers do have some blackout dates. But even though it doesn't have any blackout dates, even using that top tier, you still have to put in a reservation. And so, I'm just thinking about the idea of our annual pass is a good thing. I think, I've heard some people that are maybe out of state people that go to Disney once a year, or maybe once every couple of years, or once a lifetime or whatever. There have been a little pushback with annual pass holders because they tend to fill up the parks. And so, with all the people that have annual passes, and again, I don't think that Disney actually releases those numbers for Disney World or Disneyland, that they put those out to say exactly how many they are. But if you're an annual pass holder, you can, you have a few blackout dates, or you can just go whenever you want to. And so that brings down the guest satisfaction from those people who just bought a single day ticket or park hoppers for their one vacation that year. And so I can see the argument for that. But I think that by Disney doing it this way, and again, I don't know necessarily why they just didn't add new rules to the old annual pass system, of why they created these new tiers. But I think that it allows Disney to actually control how many people are in the parks at a time. And so I think that what it would do is, like, those top tier folks get the chance to reserve any day. But now we know those top tier people are coming, so there's less people that we can offer in those lower tiers, is what I'm wondering. And so I think that it will be a good thing for crowd control and for Disney to know exactly how many people are in their parks at the time. But I wonder about guest satisfaction is really what it goes back to. If Disney, and again, Disney are pros on almost every level that they're operating on. I think that they are pros on every level that they're operating on, if not world-class, if not like the one company in the world that you look to provide entertainment for amusement parks or computer generated movies like Pixar or whatever. They are the world. They are the world place to look to.
World leaders.
World leaders. Thank you. I don't think they're going to steer us wrong. Will we exactly know how it's going to work out, or will it benefit the end user as much as Disney? That's what I'm yet to see. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out over time.
Selfishly, being out of state, I wish there was an option for me with more blackout dates. Because with not having kids school age yet, I can kind of go whenever. And so if I can't go Thanksgiving break, fine. If I can't go over the Christmas break, fine. I'll go in the fall. I'll go in the spring. It's going to be interesting to see. I want to see what locals do with these different tiers. And I haven't paid as close attention to the local annual pass tiers in the past. But it seems like, at least from the people who use annual passes, things have changed. And while some people are upset at first, some people are excited about these changes. I think we're just going to have to let all the dust settle. So I don't know. Disney's one of those things, especially with price increases, charging for things that were free before. You're going to hear a lot of uproar because they touch a lot of people's lives. I mean, it's the number one vacation destination in the world. There are people looking at Disney World and what they do, and they're going to have opinions about it. I mean, that's kind of why we have this show is a little bit to express our opinions. With the Genie service, it doesn't scare me.
No.
Annual passes, let me sit on it for a little bit longer. But I'll kind of use that to move to our next point. I think what Disney's trying to do with annual passes is free up some space in the parks to just lower crowd levels or at least shorten wait times. And right now it seems like wait times are pretty short, both in Disney World and Disneyland. For Disney World, a lot of people are saying, well, it's because everybody wanted to delay their trip a couple of weeks and go end of September into early October for the 50th anniversary. But seeing the same thing happen at Disneyland, I don't think that's what's going on. I have a feeling that with COVID cases ramping up, people are just saying, you know what? I'll wait a year or just indefinitely to go back to Disney World and Disneyland. I mean, I don't blame him. That's kind of how I'm feeling. It's like, you know what? I'll just wait. But yeah, pictures of empty parks, empty entryways. You check wait times on the app. A lot of things are 15 minutes or less.
Yeah.
What do you think is doing this, Chris?
Well, it sounds like a perfect time to be there if you feel safe enough to be there. And I kind of fall into the same camp of other people too. I canceled some end of the summer travel plans because of the uncertainty of everything that's going on out there. And so as excited as I was and my family was of things opening back up when the summer started, man, the summer really took a strange turn with this Delta variant. And so I think that you're right. I think that a lot of it has to do with apprehension around getting out and the safety. And then there's like the two battling sides, the political sides, though, which I don't want to get into here, but it's just like, do you not want to travel because of the safety concerns? Is there a part of it that you don't want to travel because some people, there are differing opinions when people just see people with masks on? And so is wearing a mask in public at a place like Disney World or Disneyland going to create some sort of uncomfortable social situation? So I think there's a lot going on. I think that even the people are waiting a while to go to Disney because of the 50th anniversary stuff that's going to be starting up soon. So but it is bizarre. But here's like quickly just going back on some of these price increases, which I think is both ingenious and clever and kind of covering up some stuff from Disney, just looking at it from a corporate standpoint of trying to make as much money as possible, which I don't blame them for. But now there are more tiers, whether it's the Genie Plus service or the annual pass service or just buying a plane ticket, where you don't have to increase the base price of the just get inside the park and go ride rides base level. You can do incremental price increases on all of these other areas. And so it looks like you're keeping your price level kind of the same for an entry level ticket. But there are all of these little upgrades that you can enhance your experience if you want to pay for it, that allows people to like, well, I really want to go there and not have any blackout dates. And so I'll pay the $12.99 or whatever it is. And so it's allowing some people to pay more, but then Disney to still track what we're all doing as consumers to know how they can create the best experience inside the parks. And so I think that I would be willing to pay a bit more to have less people in the park. And so if they increase my prices across the board for me to be able to afford to go, but maybe somebody else is like, it's a little too steep, I'm just not going to do it this year, so there's less people in the parks, it sounds like a win for those that are in the parks that are willing to pay for it. But I do wonder if it's going to be one of those things where it's people cry or there's an outcry of like, it's just too expensive to go to a Disney trip anymore.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, it's all these little charges, ways to plus your vacation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're doing. They're giving you options of plussing your vacation, and they're just charging a little bit for it.
Yeah, which puts it in it's like, we will charge maybe less for that base level ticket, but then you can pay whatever you want to for as exclusive experience as you want. Because you can start out with just that base level ticket, or you can go all the way up through all of those tiers. And then for a couple $100 an hour, have somebody walk you around and put you right on a ride, kind of what we talked about a week or two ago. Yeah. And so that is a very premium experience that goes even beyond what we're talking about here. But you can go from base ticket to that experience or anything in between. And so that offers a lot of options to customize the type of vacation that you want to take you and your family on.
Yeah. And I think some of the frustration comes when Disney raises ticket prices and says, by the way, fast passes now cost $15 per person per day. So you're charging me more and you're charging me more. But we'll see. And speaking of plussing, last week we had our Newswire. We had just started something where with Newswires, we do a content creator spotlight. And we didn't do that last week. So this week, as we're just talking more about Genie Plus, Genie Service, new annual passes, and lower crowds in the park, we're doing our creator spotlight this week in this segment on plussing. So, Chris, our story with kind of where the Mouse and Men originated, how we got started was a decade ago. It was 2011, and you and I spent a lot of hours in a truck, and you had introduced me to a podcast called WDW Radio. And I think this is where you're like, hey, we ought to do a podcast. Here's one that I really like on Disney. And I mean, I loved it from day one. It's been going on now, I think 12 or 13 years, maybe
Yeah, I
longer.
think you're right. Yeah.
Over, was it like 640 something was the latest episode or something like that? I mean, there are a lot of episodes for WDW Radio. But just
and I think that there are a few maybe newscast episodes that aren't considered, like they don't get numbered. And so I think that they're up to 780 plus episodes at this point that they have, or Lou Mangello, the host of WDW Radio, and his team have put out. So that's a lot of episodes on Disney fandom, and the form of entertainment or education that I fell in love with that made me a better Disney fan. I feel like that I listened to other Disney fans talk about Disney, and it made me more excited about Disney. So I really attribute Lou Mangello as a person who has made me become not just an enjoyer of Disney, but actually a fan, and a rabid one at that. So I really appreciate WDW Radio and all the years we've been listening to Lou Mangello and the team over there, and couldn't say enough nice things about him as a person. We've met him on an occasion or two, and just a nice guy, has a passion for Disney, and he shares it with everybody the world over. So really love Lou and the WDW Radio team. Yeah,
fantastic podcast over there. Plus, he's got a team that runs his blog. So I don't know how much he blogs. His team does a lot of blogging on different aspects of Disney. Also, if you want information on food at Disney World, he is the guy to seek out. I love hearing his food reviews. Don't listen to him on an empty stomach, though.
That's true.
You will reach for whatever the nearest snack.
I will say this too, that I love his story. He started out, I believe he was a lawyer, maybe in New Jersey or up in the Northeast, and has since moved, he and his entire family, to the Orlando area, and now lives next to Disney World. That's how big of a fan he was, is that he moved his entire family south to Florida, where they have lived the last several years. And I was scrolling back to just see when the first episode was released, and it was all the way back in February 11th of 2007. So they have been going strong now for 14 years. And so again, 780 plus episodes at this point, from all the way back in 2007. So a lot of back episodes to go back and listen to. But if you're a fan of Disney, I believe that you'll also love WDW Radio.
Yeah, that podcast itself, it's almost old to start dating. About time to get a learner's permit, start driving.
That's true. That's true.
But lots of good stuff, and one of those that you can kind of pick and choose, especially if you've got a trip coming up. He reviews a lot of stuff. It was after listening to his episode on the campgrounds at Fort Wilderness that my wife and I said, let's go try that out. My wife had never really been camping, and so we went camping. It's more glamping there at Fort Wilderness, and had a great time. And we love that resort, what it offers. Probably not the best place to go camping in July, August into September, but especially,
it's a little humid.
Yeah, especially early in the year, where it's not too cold at night, but not blistering in the day either.
Yeah, true.
It's a good time to go down there. So thank you, WDW Radio, for basically starting the Mouse and Men. You have inspired us, Lou, to do this, not just this show, but podcasting in general. So you can find a link to his show and website down below or in your show notes. Be sure to go to themouseandmen.com. You can get all of our links to social media, plus our top 10 things for grown-ups to do in Walt Disney World. Some of those may have been on recommendation of what we've heard on the WDW Radio show. But be sure to connect with us there. Say hello, get those top 10 things for grown-ups to do. Look, things are changing.
Certainly are.
And it's hard to keep up, but we'll do it. We'll get through it. We'll help you. I'm really excited for these changes. I'm not sure how they're going to sit. I'm not sure how many of them I'm going to pay for, but I'm excited nonetheless. And it's kind of a childish excitement, like a kid coming up on Christmas, seeing, how's Christmas morning going to unfold. And I just want to encourage you, you don't want to grow up too fast.
But you got to keep exploring.